Good morning and welcome back, German. It is lovely to have you here. I am so proud of your consistency and your commitment to not only yourself, but to sharing your story about health and fitness. And yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, good morning. Good to be back.
You were like, hey, listen, I'm very relatable. How did you describe yourself? Like as an average guy?
I'm like the every guy,
You're the
right?
every guy. You're the
Yeah,
every
yeah.
guy.
You have these athletes, models, actors, whatever. I'm like the normal guy here, of all things.
I think that you're selling yourself short, but I love you practicing being humble. I appreciate that so much.
That is rare for me.
Okay, I'm glad that you admitted that because I do want to talk about, maybe we could, no, we won't start there. First of all, let me just say that you look
Mm,
fabulous. I can see it in your face how it's leaning out. Do you see
Thank you.
that?
I mean, it's hard to notice when you look at yourself every day, but when I see like a photo from like 6 months ago to now, or I'm sure when I watch this later on and I compare it to the old ones, I'm going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
And people notice it too. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
sort of like what gets to me that the most, that people like will say like, "Hey, you look good," or "Oh, I can see it in your face," of all things. So that's
And you appreciate it when other people acknowledge you in that way?
yeah, yeah, because it means that my effort's paying off, that it's noticeable, and that I'm getting, may not be there quite yet, but I'm getting to where I want to be eventually. So that's
I love
important.
that.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
it's mostly coming from people whose opinion I respect, or that in that sense that it matters, like people at the gym, people at work, and so on and so forth, that I'm like, okay, I actually care what these people have to say. So, that matters.
Do you think that you would still accept and appreciate a compliment from a perfect stranger?
I would, although I don't know if they would compliment me because they probably don't know me from 6 months ago, or what have you, right? Unless they've seen the footage or something like that from the previous podcast. I mean, I would accept it. But when it's somebody that you respect, and that has kind of seen you go through it, it kind of takes a little bit more meaning.
The reason why I'm asking you so much
Hmm.
about this is because I want the folks who are listening who know you or they know of people who are working really hard to achieve some health and fitness goals. I want you to acknowledge them. I want to encourage you to acknowledge them, to see them, to hear them, and to give them a compliment. When you feel like, oh, it's probably not going to make a difference, or oh, I'm not going to go out of my way to do that because it doesn't matter. It does matter.
Yeah,
It
yeah, it
does make a
matters.
difference.
Yeah, it's encouraging when people tell you that they're noticing it, because you can get on the scale every day if you want and do all these things, but when other people notice it, not that I necessarily care what other people think that much, because I'm doing this for myself, right? Um, I'm at that age where I needed to get healthy again and start taking care of myself. But it still means a lot when people mention it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you even sound different. You
I
sound
do.
different. You sound easy, you sound balanced, you sound grounded, and you sound solid.
Yeah, I mean that's been a lot of changes from, like the first podcast that we did almost a year ago, right? And even the second one, where I was just going through it with a lot of things, work, life, personal stuff. And knock on wood, that's all settled down a bit where I can focus on I mean, I still have to go to work and do what have you, be responsible, but it's letting me focus more on my goals and what I'm trying to do as far as like the fitness and getting healthier.
I love that. Yes, in the beginning, when we first started talking on the podcast, you were going through some life challenges and they were obstacles that you needed to get through. And you had to give yourself more grace around that time. And it was unpleasant and uncomfortable at times. And it can be discouraging, it can be frustrating, it can be a lot of negative seeming feelings. And I want to talk about the reality of life, and that
Mm,
is those challenges will
right.
come in different forms yet again.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure they will, but I'm on track now. I'm I'm focused. It was
I
just
love it. You said that with such confidence. I love
no,
it.
when you're trying to start something or trying to get back into something, that's usually the hardest part.
Yeah.
I'm going to start watching my eating. I'm going to start working on more often. When you're trying to get rolling, that's difficult, right? It's like
Yeah.
when you're working out and you're trying to, push a sled, right? The first,
Yes.
the first push thrust is kind of like the hardest one. Once you're going, you're just pushing and pushing and pushing, right? You're not even feeling it,
Yeah, you just have to keep going, but you're right. Just to get started is the hardest part. And I
right?
think that's why so many people struggle with their fitness goals in the beginning because it takes everything for them to either get a trainer or to get to the gym and just
Yeah,
get started.
yeah, yeah. And once I got going, I don't know. I think it'll be pretty hard to get me off of it now, off of my
Yeah.
journey. Yeah.
What do you think it's going to look like the next time life throws a monkey wrench into the mix?
Ooh, I hope it doesn't, but I mean, it will, right?
It always does. It
It
always
always does.
does.
Yeah, I think I'm more equipped to handle that now because like I said, I'm already in a certain state of mind where I'm confident, I'm focused, as opposed to like, okay, well, I'll get to it when I'm done with this life situation, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like putting it off.
When you talk about having the confidence and having the
Mhm.
focus, does that mean that you're relying on good habits that you've built over the past year or so?
I like how you take what I say and put it in so eloquent words. Yes, yes.
Okay. So can you
And got
give
rid of bad
us
habits.
and oh, that's important too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about both. Let's talk
Hmm.
about what your good habits and your current lifestyle looks like.
Hmm.
And let's talk about what the bad habits were and
Hmm.
what they look like today.
Okay. I'm very mindful of my nutrition, what I eat. Well, this kind of goes with the bad habits, right? I change how I do things as far as like eating, right? Like I just make little changes and some big changes. When you walk into a gas station, you don't go for the chips anymore.
Mm.
Like that's like not even a non-starter. That's not a thing. It doesn't even cross my mind. I'll go for something else. I'll go for pork rinds or cheese or something like that. That's might not be the greatest, but it's still not as bad as a bag of chips, right? That kind of thing. And yeah, when I go out to eat, if I'm at a restaurant, I'll try to eat something that's within my guidelines or my personal goals.
It sounds like you haven't gotten rid of these quote unquote bad habits entirely. What you've done is you've become more mindful in the reality that is your life. Sometimes you have to go to a gas station. Sometimes you need
Hmm.
to pick up a snack. And instead of going for something that is just laden with fat and salt and fried like chips, you're going for something that's just a little bit more protein rich. You
Hmm.
know that, it's not ideal, but you don't
Right?
beat yourself up over it. You just decide, okay, which one is the better option? I know you to be a very social person as well. And so when you go out to, either for a meal or for a drink or what have you, it sounds like you're being more mindful with the kind of food items you're choosing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of that insufferable person now that's like, well, let me get that burger, but on a better lettuce
Oh, welcome to the club, my
and all that.
friend.
Yeah.
You are that insufferable person. I
Yeah.
I am not going to take offense to how you said that because I know you're joking, but welcome.
Yeah. Hey, I'm seeing the results. And that's what I tell people when every now and then somebody will be like, oh, you're gonna get it without a bun, and they'll look at me funny, and I'll be like, well, look at me. Like,
Right? Let
this is
this
how I
it
got there. You just paid me a
Yes.
compliment, so this is how I got there.
Do people really give you a funny look if you order the burger without the bun?
Every now and then. Every now and then. At work and stuff like that, when they bring like donuts and I'm like, oh, let me look at them. They look great. And they'll be like, oh, come on, just have one. I'm like, no, I'm kind of watching what I'm eating and that type of thing.
Good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you. What do you do instead? Do you have snacks available? How do you satisfy that?
But like instead of a donut or something like that,
Yeah, if they bring in donuts, are you just not hungry and you don't end up eating anything, or did you bring snacks with you?
I have snacks. I'm not like really craving the donut or the
Yeah,
cookies.
yeah,
I'm just kind of like looking at them. They look good, but there's been like once or twice where I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna have one, right?
yeah,
There's no, not a big deal.
right.
But most of the time, I'm not even like into it. I'm just kind of like, oh, cool. They pink sprinkled donuts. They look cool, and they smell good, but I don't really want to have one.
Why do you think that is? Because that is one of the biggest issues that people
Hmm.
have is they have these addictions to
Hmm.
certain kinds of foods that are typically laden with sugar, salt, and fat because those kinds of tastes are very addictive. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering what shifted. Can you explain a little bit more how you're able to have that willpower now?
I don't know if it's willpower and I don't know the exact science behind it, but I think it's just the fact that my body doesn't crave it anymore, right?
Mm.
When you start on a certain type of diet or watching what you're eating, it gets to a point where it's kind of a non-issue. I just don't want that donut. I'm not having that craving.
You're
I'm
not
just
having that craving because I think you broke that addiction.
yeah. I mean, I don't think I was ever like addicted to donuts and stuff like that. Because I've always actually been pretty good about it. Um, I would always have one or a cookie when they brought them to work, or if I went to a gathering and there's cookies, especially like right now the holidays are about to come up.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
gonna be that's gonna be tricky,
That's what
but
I wanna talk about
yeah.
also, but let
Hmm.
me just say that I wasn't referring to an addiction to donuts per se.
Hmm.
I'm referring to the very real addiction to sugar.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it can seem slight, it can seem like a cookie or 2 or a donut or 2, but it's very real. And when you cleanse your body of that and you don't feed into that addiction, it's like your body resets in a way and it understands like it doesn't need that. There are so many healthier forms of sugar, like for example from fruits, where you can fulfill that need. The cane sugar and the high fructose corn syrup that exists in so many sweets is highly addictive and detrimental because so many people do not burn those sugar calories, those extra carbohydrates. And so then in the body, they're converted to fat. But we have to talk about the holidays
Hmm.
because this is a very challenging time for
Oh
people.
yeah.
Is it challenging for you?
Yeah. Although I think I'll figure out a way to navigate it in a
Okay,
good
well,
way.
that sounds you don't sound as confident as you did at the very start of this conversation. Let's talk about it. Okay, what is one of your biggest struggles with, Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up? Is there a lot of food? Is your mom going to try and feed you a lot? What's going on?
All of the above. I
And
mean,
none of these things are bad. None of these things
no,
are
no,
bad at all. I think from what I know of your mother, and I haven't even met her in real life, she just sounds like her love language is like cooking food for you.
yeah, yeah. I was just over at her house on Saturday morning after the gym, as I always stop by afterwards because it's on my way home, and that's the first thing she'll ask me, "Do I want to eat?" And when I say like, "No, I'm not hungry," or "I'm not really feeling it," she'll just keep asking and asking and asking, and I feel bad that you're not eating. How are you going to leave without eating? I'm like, I just don't want to eat right now. Like that's hard.
Yeah, I bet.
With the holidays, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been through it yet. I know Thanksgiving's coming up, but there's plenty of good food that I can eat without going off the rails, I think.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. You're completely right. Just because the holidays are coming up does not mean that you have to eat all of the unhealthy foods.
Yeah. I may have a tamale here or a cookie here or something like that, but
Sure.
I'm not gonna like, inhale them. So,
Right, 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 right.
or eat a dozen of them or something like that. Not that I ever did, but
Do you find that your lifestyle is now where you are kind of disciplined or regimented for a certain amount of time and then you add in flexibility and balance by having the occasional treat? Is that something?
yeah, it's kind of recent, right? Because when I started my latest journey, as I'll call it, back in May, I think,
Mhm.
after Memorial Day, actually, we did Murph, and I started
Yes.
that day.
Yes.
Yeah, Murph, your birthday, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start literally tomorrow. I think I remember even saying that I'm starting today.
Well, and let's make sure that everybody knows what Murph is. Murph is the most famous CrossFit workout. It happens annually on Memorial
Mhm.
Day, which is very close to my birthday. So I feel compelled to do it. And German and I and some of our other friends did it together this year. And it consists of a 1 mile run, followed by 100 pull ups, 200 push ups, 300 squats, and then it finishes with another mile run. And you can either wear a weight vest that's either
Mhm.
14 or 20 pounds or no weight vest, but there's a lot of different modifications you can do. Long story short, it's gnarly.
Yeah, and I already had the extra weight built in. I didn't even need a vest for that one. Anyways, when I decided to make changes, I went keto, right? Like strict keto for,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
say like,
remember.
I'm gonna say like 3 months. I mean, it's been 5 or 6 months at this point. So the first 3 months, it was just like super strict. And, I went on a vacation in July. I'm going on vacation again this week.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna like, enjoy myself a little bit. I know that I gotta, once I get back, I gotta get back on my routine.
So vacation is vacation and you allow yourself more flexibility to eat what you want and do what you
Mhm.
want and drink what you want. Do you turn off the mindfulness when you're on vacation, or is it always kind of on a little bit?
It's always kind of on, but I gave myself a little bit more leeway, right?
Okay,
Like,
that's
like,
fair.
yeah.
That's
So yeah,
fair.
it's on. I'm still not going crazy and, eating it, especially in Mexico. It's like the bread is so amazing. That's
Mm.
like that's like every Mexican's nightmare, like giving up bread. It's like the sweet
And
bread.
Filipino Americans, because bread is a thing for me too.
Yeah. Yeah. We got the pan dulce, the sweet bread,
Oh,
which
I know
is,
what that is.
yeah, yeah. If I have a weakness, that would probably be it. When I'm down there, I'm like, okay, might as well enjoy myself a little bit. Not going too crazy though.
Yeah. So it sounds like there is mindfulness still present when you're on vacation. You allow yourself those treats and you don't go crazy. And it sounds
Mhm.
like you used to go crazy,
Oh yeah, yeah,
meaning quantity wise.
yeah. Like eat all day and just one after the other, restaurant after restaurant. I didn't do that last time, and I don't plan on doing that this time. I'm gonna still have good meals, but just gonna watch it. That's all.
I have a question.
Hmm.
Do you remember when you went crazy and you would have meal after meal and treat
Hmm.
after treat? Did it feel good?
At some point, it didn't,
Yeah.
because it was one of those things where I'm like, well, I want to go to this restaurant because I'm here, and I gotta go eat, right? I mean, I cannot go to that restaurant and eat. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
come back for another year or 2 years, so I want to go in. So it kind of became that kind of thing.
I was asking that because sometimes, a lot of times, I ask people when they eat a certain food and they kind of gorge themselves,
Mm.
how do they feel during and after? And it's like they become a little bit mindless because they're so enraptured with the process of, devouring that goodie. But then immediately afterwards, a lot of times they say they feel like shit.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would happen. Yeah, more often than not.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause like I said, I was just about like I gotta hit this place and this other place before I go home. I wouldn't say I was forcing myself to eat, but I was kind of like on a mission, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You had a different goal back then.
Hmm. Yeah,
And now the goal has changed where you're not being too strict. You're still allowing yourself to have those fun foods that you grew up with
yeah,
and enjoy yourself, but you have a different goal. I also think that when people do that to themselves, and when I say that, I'm referring to kind of gorge themselves and go past their limits and feel really uncomfortable afterwards. That it's a form of not respecting the body and what the body is telling them.
right.
If it happens very occasionally, that's one thing. Maybe you're testing your boundaries, your limits. But then if it's happening on all the vacations or on all the holidays or on all the birthdays or whatever occasion it is, then you have to look at that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not a good feeling when you're feeling I'm like stuffed and I can't even move for a while,
Yeah.
and I gotta go eat again in a couple hours, type of thing,
Yeah. I
right?
wonder if on these vacations, are you active at all?
I try to be. I mean, I try to go for walks, and I mean, I'm not doing like a workout or anything, but I'll go for walks.
I mean, walking is perfect, especially
Yeah,
right after a meal. If you don't want
yeah,
your glucose to spike as high, that is the perfect time. Go on a 20-minute walk right after you eat. And it's amazing how just walking on a vacation can help you prevent packing on extra pounds.
that, and it makes you feel like you're just not sitting there inactive, right? You're
Yeah.
doing something,
You're actually doing something, you're being productive. And
right?
it's a great way to see a city or an
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
So I know that you had some everyman questions
Every man questions.
for
Yes.
me in regards to health and fitness and all of that. Give it to me.
I don't take a lot of supplements, but I do take creatine
Mm.
and take it every day. I usually take it in the morning. It's the first thing I do. And I'm trying to research when's the best time to take it. There's a lot of people that say take it right before a workout. Some people say take it after a workout. And some people say it doesn't matter as long as you take it. So, what are your thoughts on that?
From the research I've done, really respect Dr. Stacy Sims, and she's the one who actually turned me on to creatine. The recommended dosage is anywhere from 3 to 5 grams. There are some people who take up to 20 grams. Rory McIlroy, famous golfer, and some other people. That I don't know about, but
Okay.
I take 5 grams every single day. I'm really glad that we're talking about this because ideally you want to take it at the exact same time every day. And if that's no problem and you've got that dialed, then take it at the exact same time every day right after a workout. And the reason is your muscles are more insulin sensitive at that time, and your blood flow is higher, and nutrients like creatine are better absorbed. But the most important thing is to take it every single day. And apparently, it takes about 3 weeks of doing this every single day in order to really saturate the body and to start feeling the effects. It can help with muscle recovery, which is important for folks who work out as hard as
Mhm.
we do. And it's also great for cognition and brain health. So, taking before a workout, I don't know. That's not ideal unless that's the best time of day that you can take it every single day, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do because it's first thing in the morning.
Do you think that you can rework your creatine supplementation so that you take it every single day after your workout?
Well, the things that I work out at different times, right?
Oh, I see.
During the week, I might go like super early in the morning, and on weekends, I might go later in the morning, and or even at night when it's hockey or something else, right? I think that might throw me off if I start trying to just do it after a workout.
Then I would say keep doing exactly what you're doing by taking it first thing in the morning and being consistent. Take it every single day. How many grams are you taking?
I do five,
Perfect.
one scoop.
Good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah, the one you recommended. So yeah,
Yeah, I take the one by Momentous.
okay,
It's high quality. It's easy to mix into a smoothie or a protein shake. It doesn't really
yeah,
taste like anything. It just adds a little bit of a texture. But
yeah.
does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Good.
Yeah. So speaking of recovery and after workouts, you had a guest a couple of weeks ago, and you guys were talking about when people try to make excuses for not going to the gym or not getting that workout in. It got me thinking, what's the fine line between, okay, I really am tired, I really need to take a day off, versus I'm just being lazy? Because we all know someone, especially if you go to a gym like CrossFit, Pilates, where you see the same people at the same time, usually we all know someone that walks in, they look like crap, they look miserable. They will tell you, I'm so fucking tired. This is my 15th day in a row. And I'm like, well, why don't you just take a rest day? And they're like, oh, no, 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 I can't take a rest day. Taking a rest day is going to destroy all their gains or losses. I'm just trying to figure out what your opinion is on where's that line. I finally upgraded to a newer smartwatch that
Mm.
tells you based on your sleep and your workouts yesterday, this is your readiness to work out. And I've been tracking it. It seems pretty accurate. There's days where it's slow, you should take a rest day. And there's days where it's like, you're ready to go. And I think it works. It tracks how I feel. But um, yeah, sometimes I do feel just lazy.
Yeah. I think this is a great question, and the answer is very individual based, but I can give you some general guidelines. First of all, I want to know which watch you got.
It's the Google Pixel Watch.
Okay.
I'm a Google person. So yeah.
Okay. Well, there are a lot of smartwatches, and there's the Aura Ring, of course,
Mm.
that tracks your HRV or your heart rate variability. It tracks your sleep stages and how much sleep you got in each of those stages. And a lot of other different measurements. And based on all of that information, it can give you a readiness score and
Yeah.
let you know if you should train the next morning or the next day or not. And I have found in wearing these devices, because I love gadgets, that sometimes it's accurate and sometimes it's not. And when it's not, it's because sometimes I mentally need to work out. I absolutely need to work out. Now, I'm thinking about the example of the person who goes to the gym 15 days in a row and they need to move their body every single day. I know what that's like. I have been that person. And I can tell you that depending on what they are doing with their body, that's probably too much. Now, if it's 5 hard days in the gym of doing CrossFit, for example, and then 2 of those days are walking or hiking or swimming or yoga, doing some sort of intentional stretching, that's fine. But
Yeah.
if you are going to the gym and doing strength training 7 days a week without rest for weeks, I don't encourage that. You have to remember that the body is a magnificent, miraculous thing that can endure a lot. However, pay attention to how it feels when it starts getting sore. There's a reason why you get sore. You are breaking down muscle fibers that want to build, and you have to give those muscle fibers time and the appropriate food, protein in this case, in order to build. If I continue to work out through the soreness, where I just continue to feel depleted. I not only feel like shit, but like it's physically visible. That's my body's
Mm.
way of saying, Cat, shake things up. If you really need to move, get outside and take a walk. There are other things that you can do, but stop destroying yourself. You are never going to get the muscle gains by continuing to break yourself down. I think the people who work out in that way multiple days in a row without listening to their body's true needs, they have stuff mentally that they are grappling with.
Okay. That's pretty deep.
I really do, because I've been there too.
Mm.
I know the folks who are scared to have a rest day. They've literally told me that they are scared to take a rest day because they don't want to fall out of this good habit of working out consistently. They're afraid that if they do take a rest day, that it's going to throw everything off and they're just going to lose their consistency. And so what I say to them is, okay, you can do a little something. Do yoga, go on a walk, go on a light jog. You're allowed to move your body, but it's it's hard with some people.
Yeah. It's hard. That even goes with like eating, right? And your eating habits where you're like, oh, if I stop doing this for one day, I'm gonna gain 30 pounds by next morning, right? Or I'm not gonna be able to do a deadlift tomorrow if I skip 2 days workout or something like that. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of have that going through my head, but I also know like today I didn't go to the gym because I'm pretty sore from the last 2 days. I went back to back days, Saturday and Sunday. So I'm gonna chill today and go back tomorrow or Wednesday.
Good
Nothing
for
bad's gonna
you.
happen. What's gonna happen?
Well, what's going to happen is your muscles are going to grow stronger. You're going to continue feeding them protein. You're going to recover and you're going to have more energy tomorrow when you do work out. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how I feel. Today I don't feel guilty because I'm not going to the gym or anything. I really do feel like I need to rest because I know that I've been working out for a few days, not straight. And like you were saying, it's not always just going to CrossFit. It's going for a walk or a run or something like that. That's
Or ride your
easier.
bike.
Ride my bike. Yeah.
Call up a friend and say, hey, let's go on a hike. I think true athletic people are the ones who have their favorite sports, but then you see them doing so many varieties of activities, whether they're paddleboarding or rollerblading or doing jujitsu or rock climbing or what have you. They're just open to doing all these different things. It's so good, not only for the body, but for the mind. And then you tax the muscles in a different way. And in a way, they're very complementary. If you keep stressing the muscles in the same way, they're going to have their breaking points. And it's not going to be pretty if you keep pushing past that, because then we're talking about injuries.
Yeah. And that's why I like to change it up a little bit. I do different things during the week.
Yeah. Like, it's cool when we run up the stairs at the Hollywood Bowl, we do the body weight movements. That's so different from how
Right.
else you train, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Or boxing or hockey or whatever. I mean, they're,
Exactly.
yeah. And they're fun.
And they're fun. That's the beauty of it. I don't think that working out is one of these things. Maybe at first it's it's a way to reach our health and fitness goals, but I think ultimately, if you truly make this a lifestyle and you're committed to that, you start to switch things in your mind where you're like, "Oh my god, this is fun. This is pleasurable. It feels good to be able to use my body in this way." And you become more open-minded. I've noticed people who get really fit in their bodies get fit in their minds if they make that switch, because there are also the kind of folks who have the aesthetics, they're regimented, they're disciplined, and they look the part, but their minds are still rigid. There's no flexibility. That's a different kind of human. I'm talking about the person who allows the beauty of getting fit and healthy to penetrate all areas of their life.
Yeah. When you can incorporate it into fun activities, right?
Yeah. And I mean, changing your attitude in general, like your presence is still the same. You are still my very good friend, German. I can feel your energy, but I don't know if you're just tired or you're just more evolved as a human being or what it is today, but you feel different to me. You feel grounded. You feel more humble, actually, and balanced.
Yeah. It's been a lot of work getting there.
It is a lot of work.
It's all part of the discipline, feeling better about myself, right? The confidence, seeing the results, feeling accomplished.
I think that that's a really important point, is when you become accomplished and you feel confident in all these things, I think we naturally become more humble. I think the people who like feel themselves all the time, meaning they brag or they just think they're it, I think that they're compensating for areas where they're actually lacking.
Yeah. I mean, we all do. I do all the time. But
I have, for sure.
yeah,
And I have also found that people see through that. People see through that and they don't want to be around the person who's always talking themselves up. I think innately humans want to be recognized and heard and seen. And so it's better to be around the person who acknowledges them.
yeah, yeah.
What other questions do you have for me?
So this is kind of like the can of worms that, you kind of opened with one of your other guests talking about the weight loss drugs.
Oh, yeah. Ozempic.
Olympic, all of those. They're not paying us, so let's not advertise them. I was talking about earlier how people come up to me and they're like, "You look good," and what have you. And people that feel comfortable enough to ask me, "Are you like on whatever?" And I'm like, "No, it's all natural." I know it shouldn't bother me, but it kind of does because it's kind
Mm.
of taking the credit away from what I've been doing. And when you see somebody lose 40 pounds in 2 months, the assumption is they got to be on drugs. They got to be on one of those things. And I've lost 40 pounds in 5 months.
Can we just pause for one moment and acknowledge
Yes,
how fucking incredible that is? That's huge. You did it in a healthy way.
right, right. And and
That's
and I
amazing.
and I think it's important that the reason why a lot of people gain the weight back when they go on those drugs is because they don't have to put in the work, right?
Yeah.
They don't know the struggle. And I'm not judging anybody. I know some people very close to me that take them for valid medical reasons that they were developed in the first place. But a lot of people do take them just because they want to do shortcuts. They want to skip the process. And I get it. If you're 400 pounds and at risk of congestive heart failure, and that's the only way you're going to save yourself, do it. But if you're trying to lose those extra 20, 30 pounds, that's a little sketchy. You can do that yourself, I think.
Ew. This issue in particular hits really close to my heart because my chosen profession is to help people achieve their health and fitness goal in the healthiest way possible. And I have mixed feelings because, as you said, there are drugs out there, when used correctly, they can help with type 2 diabetes. They can help in the way that they were intended to. But then, like everything, by the way. Everything gets abused. Things get used when they're not supposed to. That is just human nature. And so it doesn't surprise me one bit that people are abusing and overusing these types of drugs that have the added benefit of suppressing appetite, the folks not eating the amount of food they would normally eat, thereby losing weight. And not just losing weight, but specifically losing fat and muscle. Let's make that abundantly clear.
Mhm.
I can't stress that enough, is when you're on these drugs and you're losing your appetite, these fools are not going, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say fools, but these people are not going to the gym and starting up a healthy fitness routine. They're just simply taking the drugs. They're
Mm.
taking them because they want that shortcut. Then they lose the muscle that they do have and the fat. I can tell when somebody's taking Ozempic or Wegovy. I can tell. They have a gaunt look. Their
Mm.
skin gets sallow. They look like they're heading towards death in a way. Their skin becomes not vibrant, not
Right.
luminous. When you're feeding yourself healthy nutrition and all the vitamins and all the minerals, there's a glow that happens. When you have muscle, you can see beautiful shapes and contours in the body. And when you are just simply losing weight, it's like the skin hangs. It hangs. Do you know what I'm saying?
Skinny fat.
It's a form of skinny fat, but yeah, it is. And I haven't seen it in a long time, but in a way, it's worse. Because it just also kind of looks like death to me. It looks like that person is aging. Fat can be very, very useful. And I don't ever want to be too lean. That's not
Mm.
my thing. Fat is what gives us that youthful look. It fills out those areas where we could look sunken. That's why when you see somebody like extremely lean, they also look very old.
Yeah, they do.
They look very old. I'm not into that. You know, if I want some fat reserve, so God forbid I get sick, I have a reserve. But it also feels good on my body to have a little bit of fat. It feels very healthy.
Yeah. No, I got you going with that one.
Yeah, it just breaks my heart because I know too many people who are on it. And it's like, God, I would help you. I want to help you, but you're not willing to do the work, and I can't do the work for you.
Right.
And you know what it is? They don't want to. They don't want to do that work. Mentally, they're not there. And I don't know. I'm going to stop. I was giving some compliments to people who were losing weight, knowing fully well that they were on Ozempic and stuff like that. And I'm going to stop doing it if I know that they're taking it for the wrong reasons. They're not taking it for the reasons that it was prescribed for.
Yeah, because a lot of those drugs, they have like really good results if you need them, right? If you
Yes.
you have a condition, if you and people do benefit from them, but it's when they're trying to do it as a shortcut. I don't really care what other people do, but it does kind of bother me a little bit when people assume that that's what I'm doing. That was my whole point with that.
I get that. And I think what people are saying is, German, you look really good. I'm seeing weight loss. You're looking fabulous. And you could take it any way that you want, but maybe consider taking it as a compliment and then giving them the opportunity to understand how you did it, and then that might encourage them or motivate or inspire them to do the same, to follow suit, that it is possible without these drugs. It totally is. Another important point that we haven't even touched on when it comes to taking these drugs, and you did touch on it, is you miss the journey.
Mm.
You miss all the growing. You miss the struggles and the challenges that you have to overcome in order to achieve these results. And that is what it's all about. You become a different person through the process. If you skip all that, you're still the same person. You're going to continue living that lifestyle and more issues will come. You'll just weigh less,
Yeah.
but you'll still
Yeah.
be the same person. When you can say, you know what? I'm ready to make a real lasting change in my life through my health and fitness. I want longevity. I want vibrancy. I want high quality of life. That's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
And you are so lucky, but you're the one who created your luck. You decided, I'm going to do it this way because this is what feels good for me. Did you know that you were going to change mentally when you went through this?
In a way, yes, because I've done it before, which is how I know that it's a struggle. Because I got super lean and went back up, and I'm super lean again, and that's part of the fear, right? If I start straying from my habits, my routine, it's always creeping in your mind, right? I've done all this hard work, and I don't want to let it snowball. If I have that donut, that I'm gonna have a donut the next day, and next thing I know, we're doing the podcast from 6 months ago, right? Where I'm like, yeah, I didn't do shit.
You had a whole different attitude. You went into lawyer mode on that episode and you were justifying and you were being just a different way.
I wasn't wrong, but yeah, but yeah,
You weren't wrong.
it's a
You,
different approach.
yeah, you weren't wrong at all, but I can tell you we weren't vibing in the
Hmm.
same way.
Hmm.
And I think that that can show up in lots of different areas in one's life. How you relate to others, how well you perform at work, how you deal with your relationship and your family and your friends. All of these things can be affected by how you feel about yourself and what you're doing in your life.
Yeah, yeah, and I do feel a lot better nowadays. So
Have
yeah,
you found that your relationships have gotten better? Do they feel the same? Are they worse? Have you noticed any changes in your life now that you feel better health-wise?
I'd say some are better, some are the same. I'm not exactly sure how to explain that. There's different areas of life, like at work. If I'm meeting with a client, I might feel a little more confident just because they're not looking at the fat dude, right?
That's a huge statement.
When I'm talking to them and I need them to listen to me, I think I project better, right? Because
Yeah.
people are superficial like that, unfortunately.
Well, they don't have a lot to work with. They don't have all the time to get to know German and that he's a
Right.
pilot and that he plays hockey and that he knows how to play the guitar and that he likes Guns N' Roses. They don't get the time or the opportunity to learn all of that. So, I don't think it's a bad thing that sometimes people judge the exterior a little bit because
Hmm.
the exterior can tell a story.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can tell a small part of your story.
And believe me, people know that I'm a pilot and that I do CrossFit and all that. I mean, I'm stereotypical when it comes to that.
Okay, so you make it known.
There's no waiting to get to know me on that one.
I love it. I love it. And I think that's why I find you so endearing is you love to share your passions, your passions.
I either have like a airplane sticker on my water bottle or a hockey, pin on my jacket or something like that. And it's like, oh, do you play hockey? Or are you into planes? Well, let me tell you about that. I mean, since you ask.
I love it. You know what though? I think it's kind of brilliant that you do that because you're giving people the opportunity to know who you are and they get to ask only if they want to when you do those little subtle hints.
Yeah, I mean, I put it out there. Oh, nice purple tie. I'm like, oh, I like purple and blah blah blah.
You don't
Whatever.
like purple, you love purple.
I do.
But getting back to it, I think that it's an important point that you just made that when you're talking with a new client, you know that they're not looking at the fat guy. They're looking at somebody who's fit, who's lean. And I love that you said that. Like, that's not one thing that you have to worry about anymore. That's one of the beautiful things about getting fit is sometimes your audience is more receptive to you
Hmm.
because they can see that you are respecting your body in a way. There's
Yeah.
something about you when you have muscles, when you stand up a little straighter, when you carry yourself well because you're fit, that other people immediately see and a lot of times are very drawn to.
Yeah, it changes how people look at you, the projection, for better or worse, right? And that's unfortunate that you might be with a brilliant person, but you're kind of judging them on how they look initially. You might not put as much confidence in them until they kind of prove themselves, right? And it's
It's
like I said, that's
true.
that's that's one of those things where it's just human nature and it's unfortunate in a way, but that's how we are, right?
That's how we're designed. We're very visual creatures.
Yeah,
And we don't have a lot to go off of unless your water bottle has stickers all over it,
yeah,
so
and
to speak.
kind of tells them what I'm about, and
Yeah. But I
yeah,
love that you do that. And I love that you are going into your meetings with more confidence and not letting that thought of, I wonder what they're thinking about how I look.
It's also how I feel, right? Because a lot of these meetings are like done remotely, like you and I are doing it.
Mhm.
And I have to look at myself in the camera, and like I used to look at myself like getting up or sitting, and I'm like, man, that's not a good look at all.
Well, and that's not gonna make you feel good at all, and then when you don't feel good, whether you like it or not, that energy does come through.
Right. Right. I feel that's definitely like a way that I can quantify how it's changed, how my routine, my journey has changed.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you have any other questions?
When are we doing our 100 meter race?
Oh my god, you know what? I've been ready. I could do it tomorrow if you wanted to, but you're the one who keeps procrastinating or I don't hear anything. I'm ready. You wanna set a date?
We should. I
I
mean,
don't
I
even
just
need to
needed.
train for this.
Well, I kind of do. I also needed to shed some weight, so you have no shot now.
Oh, thanks for the laugh. Okay. Well, when do you wanna do the race?
Well, we'll figure it out soon.
No, no, no. That's what you've been saying for a year, and I'm over it. If you're going to call me out on my podcast,
Okay.
then you need to put a date to it.
I don't know. I don't know. I gotta look at my calendar.
Why don't you
Let's do it.
pull it out right now? Pull it out right
Let's
now.
let's do it right before the 5K in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so German is going to do a 5K run with me and my girls on the run. It's a celebratory end of the season 5K. I love that you freaking do that with us. I will accept this answer. So we're
Okay.
going to do it after, you said,
Or before.
or
I mean,
before?
yeah.
Okay, fine.
You know,
That's that I can
I'll get there
agree.
early. I'll get there early. Well, it's gonna take what, like 10 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, you know what? How about we do it? Well, not on the 5K because I have to coach that day, but we could do it right after because we'll be nice and warm.
Okay. Let's do
And
it.
I'll have one of my coaches film it.
All right. It's
Deal?
on. Deal.
Snap. I'm
It's on.
excited. Are we going to wear outfits?
Yeah. I always, of course, I gotta wear an outfit.
I'm so excited. Okay, awesome. Well, I'm so happy to have you back on. I'm very thankful to have you as my friend. I love that
Likewise.
you are humbling your ego, but I mean, I love you as you are.
Thank you.
All right. So, till next time.
Till next time.